When I go the call, the KC star apologizes for racist past.
Hello?
Is this Black Kansas City?
Yes, may I help you?
This is the Kansas City Star.
The Kansas City Star? Okay. What could I do for you, Kansas City Star?
Hey, what's up, you guys? Kareem Jackson. You are live on the set. Hey, one thing for you guys. Diversity, inclusion, and equity is not a one-way street, people. Usually we hear about DEI or diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as allies and alliances. Speaking to what situations, and that is a victim mentality. And you know, black folks, we are not victims, okay? We do not think of ourselves or our community as victims. That is not how we truly feel. So this episode, people, Mike Fannin, the Kansas City Star, is here talking live. This is all about us coming to help and align ourselves with a white-owned and white-led company who needs us to create a win-win-win situation, as we often, as black American people, Kansas City black people, can do. Mike Fannin, the president of the Kansas City Star, is here. Remember, they launched this massive internal investigation. They turned around the mirror. They didn't like what they saw, and they have since completely apologized publicly, globally, for their racist past. So now we've partnered to launch this phenomenal, mega black-owned KC business and lifestyle section that is going to blow your mind. So not just giving us social and press, but coming to lift us up by our bootstraps, give us some great help for our businesses and our livelihoods, promoting black-owned businesses. That is what we really need. So we don't need to work for you. We don't need to be part of what you do anymore. We know the true power of true freedom of entrepreneurship once again. So the Kansas City Star is not pushing our businesses before, how they didn't promote us, how they didn't put us in the paper. It was more about our entrepreneurs and professionals. That's the equity that we really have lost over the last 141 years. So this win-win-win between Black Kansas City, by Black Kansas City, Black entrepreneurs, and the Kansas City Star, which is all great for KC at large, is launching just before Thanksgiving to kickstart the Black Friday 2021 holiday season to help us to bounce back after this damn pandemic. Remember this, Eric Wesson over there, the managing editor of the Kansas City Call, along with Sheila Brooks, the CEO of SRB Communications, had some harsh words to say on Roland Martin, Unfiltered, about the Kansas City Star and what Mike Fannin was trying to do. Bring directly to now 41 years. This whole board thing, what is that about? Reparations, how are they going to do it? What is that whole thing about? And that social and editorial rewards, we need economics. The new black-owned business and lifestyle and ally section, we're going to get into what that is, how big it is, when it's going to come out. Need to just work for you or work for them anymore. We need to push hard about our own businesses. The KC Star, we want to know, what are you hiring? What opportunities are there for you? We want to push diversity and inclusion and advertising and subcontracting. We want that Buy Black KC edition. You guys, people, you got to go out and get this. It's going to come out on Sunday. It's going to be awesome. So let's show them the power that we have and let's support them. So I believe that truthfully, they missed our stories. They missed our readership, and they missed our 30% of the Kansas City market. So the Star is letting us come back in face to face. They're walking, let us do everything that we need to do. So what does the future look like for the Kansas City Star? So Mike Fannin is here. The Kansas City Star is here live on the set with me for the Buy Black Kansas City show, and we're here to help. So you guys talk to me. I'm live. You can answer questions. We're going to get into some of the great things that we're talking about, so you guys understand this show is going to be phenomenal. So grab your coffee, grab your cocktails, grab your snacks or whatever you need, and come right on back. We're going to get into this. So let's talk about it. And we're getting started with this show right now. This is going to be a fun show. So go ahead and grab your snacks and whatever, you guys. Come on back.
#1 unapologetic, controversial, multi-award winning, highly anticipated magazine is back. But we way more than just a magazine. You're live on the set. Kareem Jackson's Buy Black Kansas City Meet and Greet Morning Show. Presented by the all-new Black Kansas City magazine, formerly Minority Success, baby. If you didn't know, now you know. We back. Despite the racism, anti-inclusion, and anti-diversity, we're here. Showcasing hundreds of Black KC businesses, hotspots, events, entrepreneurs, talking hot topics. So what's good? Buy Black KC live, new shows weekly. www.blackkansascitymag.com.
Hey everybody, how are you doing? It's Kareem Jackson, you guys. This is a situation where we have Mike Fannin, you guys, the president of the Kansas City Star, here live in the audience. He's back here. I can look at his pretty face right now. He's out here waiting to talk to you guys right now. You guys may have seen the previous show where I talked about the apology the Kansas City Star did and how they apologized for the racist past and how it was such an awesome situation where a vindication for a lot of Black businesses out there like our own that went through a lot of the racist things and the redlining things of the past, and no one believed us, no one understood. We didn't even understand what the hell was going on, but it was very hard for Black businesses to grow and to push and to become something more than what they were before. This is why you guys are here. It's not for me. Mike, if you are ready with that beautiful, fantastic bearded face here, this is Mike from the Kansas City Star. Brother Mike, how are you doing, man? How are you, brother?
I'm terrific this morning, Kareem. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I love it. Thank you. Let me turn down my speakers here, y'all. Mike, it is so good to talk to you. We've had some great conversations, and I'm really glad that you're here. Thanks for being patient. We on BPT time. We got intros and outros and commercials and things and testing, and I'm glad that you were right there waiting because my team was trying to get a hold of you, but apparently you didn't need to get a hold of you. You were professional.
Well, I appreciate it, and thanks for the link. And I love the spots. I love those brims. I don't feel like I'm cool enough to be on your show, but thanks for having me anyway.
We cut out about 2 or 3 of them just to get right to you because I don't want you to. I know you got meetings and things to go to. It's early in the morning for you on Friday. So TGIF. First and foremost, you guys, if you guys don't know, this is Mike Fannin. You guys are president of the Kansas City Star. If you're here from Kansas City, you guys can chime in the comments. First of all, Mike, I want to say thank you on the behalf of myself and the people that I know, Black folks in Kansas City, for the formal apology that Kansas City Star did and for going back and doing the investigation. Of course, you guys know that Mike has not been there for 141 years, so it wasn't him that did it many years ago, but thanks for doing that. I appreciate that. But for the people that don't know what happened, can you maybe explain to us what made you even go back and look in the history? Besides, I know that one of your staff brought that to you, but what made you go back, do that, and then want to publish it, and then keep doing the things you're doing right now?
Well, thanks, Kareem. I think so much is about moving forward, and we're caught up in, so many stories on a daily basis. And it really was important to have Murray Rose Williams brought us this story last summer in the wake of the George Floyd protest and said, I think we should look at what the Star has done and how the Star has deported itself in the past and how the Star has covered the Black community. And I think for those of us who've been around for a bit at the Star, there was a sense that, we certainly had an imperfect past. And so we just decided to do what we do, which is let's put our investigative hat, let's dig in, let's investigate ourselves in this case, and let's see what we find. And Kareem, unfortunately, what we found was the Kansas City Star had 2 kinds of coverage when it came to the Black community, either neglectful or non-existent, or stereotypical and offensive. And that was really the only two buckets that we found through about the first really 100 years of the paper's history. And at that point, it became really imperative, I think, that we get that truth out there, that we share with the community how, as we process things today, how we look back at that and we're ashamed. And part of what I was trying to do there through Murray's terrific suggestion was not apologize with any kind of qualification or condition, not to say we did some other good work, but to really just come open arms and say what we did was terrible and there's no excuse for it and there's no, unfortunately, erasing it. And too often, I think that it affected the landscape of the city. It had a huge impact on a number of socioeconomic issues that just underscored that Kansas City was for white people, and Kansas City Star was a paper for white people. And even though for decades, I think the Star and good-hearted, strong-minded and willed executives have wanted to do something different, I don't think we've had purchase in that space to do something different because we'd never really acknowledged what we had done in the past. And that's really what we're trying to do here, is hit the reset button and say, that was a long time ago. The coverage was offensive. It was terrible. Unfortunately, it didn't stop on one particular day and the work continues, but we certainly don't have the staff that we had 100 years ago and the way that we approach stories in the Black community. And I think that we've humbled ourselves. We've kind of gotten on our knees and said, what can we do to right this wrong and to fix this? There's no fixing it per se, but what can we do to address this moving forward? And so this year has really been about humbling ourselves and learning and opening ourselves up to new partnerships and new ideas. I'm very excited about the Black-owned businesses project that we're partnering with your magazine on. We've done a number of other things. We've stepped away from the words and images of our founder, and we're embracing a new day in Kansas City and at the Star. And I can say that honestly, we didn't do it as any kind of business initiative. We did it because it was the right thing to do. I wish we had done it earlier. Consciousness comes when it comes, right?
Yeah, it's true.
But that's our story. And I've spent 9 months. I was talking to you about this offline, Kareem. This isn't the first international/local program I've done. I've spent 9 months, in effect, virtually traveling the country to tell this story. And, the LA Times in September, before we published in December, published a similar series. And so I've gotten to know some of their editors very well because I've done a number of different programs with them. And, I remain humbled by what we found. And again, I remain humbled by how much work still remains to be done. This could be many years I think we're just getting started down the road of probably many years of trying to correct the balance here. So it's not a work that we did and walked away from. We've had an advisory board we've been working with for 9 months. We're new partnerships in the community. We've introduced a lot of new features at the paper. We hope that people will give us a chance to set things right.
Well, personally, I think, for example, that it's a wonderful thing. I really commend you guys on doing it. I know that I've seen mixed views out there in the Black community, especially the Black media community, that, maybe say it's too little too late, or they're asking for this, reparations, or they're asking for this. My direction is one, gratitude, because I believe in second chances. I believe in apologies. I believe in all of that stuff. Folks out there asking me here. I'm going to read this real quick, Mike. This is from you. You guys put out there. I want you guys to hear this. Today, we're telling a story. This is written by the Kansas City Star, by the way, you guys. Today, we're telling a story of a powerful local business that has done wrong. For 140 years, it's been one of our most influential forces in shaping. It's been one of the most influential forces in shaping Kansas City and the region. And yet, for much of its early history, which is what Mike was alluding to, for about the first 100 years, through signs of both commission and omission, it's disenfranchised, ignored, and scorned generations of Black Kansas Cityans. It's reinforced Jim Crow laws and redlining. Decade after early decade, it robbed an entire community of opportunities, dignity, justice, and recognition. This business is the Kansas City Star. And that is what you wrote there in your I won't say it's an op-ed. You had an entire feature investigation about that. And then they're talking about here these sort of headlines. You guys put this image out there as well, showcasing the reign of terror and Negroes and brutal crime, dangerous Negroes, and all of this stuff. And we've seen that, of course, before. And I really want to bring folks out there to understand what's changed, Mike. Not necessarily, I guess, at the Star, of course, as well, but what has changed now to where you think that aligning with the original founder is not the way to go anymore?
Well, the original founder's words were disingenuous. They weren't real. We used to publish his quote in the paper every morning, a paper for the people. And what it really was a paper for white people. And so he was one of the early influences on J.C. Nichols, who's one of the absolute grandfathers of redlining in America. J.C. Nichols gets a lot of heat for that historical reference. But William Rockhill Nelson, not so much. because he had this other life where he helped develop a lot of the streets and boulevards and parks. And of course, his home became the site of the Nelson Atkins Museum. And so he's sort of, he wasn't really considered to be fair game, I think, until we brought him into the picture and said, let's re-examine even the very roots of the Star's founding. So what has changed is we're a way more diverse staff than we were even, I think, probably 10 years ago. I think that where that comes into play again is having a veteran reporter like Mireille, a Black reporter in Kansas City that's been here for a long time, who has some great institutional knowledge. And, she was able to bring this to our attention. But that story also got filtered through a lot of young new employees that we've hired, like Trey Williams, or actually her son, who's one of our editors. And this hurts me, Kareem. I mean, some of this stuff is just painful, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just painful. And I know it's more painful for the community out there, but it just hurts my heart to know this. If you were Black in Kansas City and you died in 1950, you couldn't have your obit. You couldn't even buy an obit in the Kansas City Star. One of the things that we're doing now, unpaid, is what is featuring Black Kansas Cityans who've passed, who maybe never got a headline, maybe never got recognition in the Star before. And so every week we're trying to give you a selection of those features. I also think that we're producing happened in the past, and that I think separate other local policing part of it, accountability part of it, like accountable. What I don't think we saw until last year very clearly was our own role in helping historically support those institutions. Mm-hmm. In the 60s, if the Kansas City police shot an unarmed Black person, the Kansas City Star didn't really make much of it, as we found in our investigation. And then often what would happen is, even though that person was unarmed, then the Star digs in and finds out that this person may have been involved in a misdemeanor or two, some other prior incident. And it just, I think, led to some incredibly terrible stereotyping that fed into narratives that allowed the police department and allowed City Hall, allowed a lot of institutions of power to just sort of operate with impunity. And we don't do that now. I mean, or, if people hadn't noticed, with the Kansas City Police Department and its chief, we've called for his ouster. We have called for local control of the police department. So I think for some time we've tried to really do very conscientiously accountability stories around racial equity, but we needed, I think the last piece is we needed to understand our role in helping historically support and build up those forces that we're now sort of waging war against.
Yeah, I tell you this too, as being from Kansas City and being an international business person my whole life, I would always see the differences in the States, or especially in the Midwest, as opposed to around the world, how Blacks were viewed. And I think that, like what you were alluding to about the whole situation of the disenfranchisement, meaning, you didn't show our obituaries and things like that. And I think that's wonderful. And I agree with that. I believe that what really we missed was the fact that you guys pretty much built the plaza through marketing, advertising, helping him with his promotion, helping him grow the business, giving him the credibility and the access to the media and the press and things like that, not including or limited to showcasing when the plaza was flooded and not showcasing the Black community. But what I like about the partnership that we're putting together, and I think a lot of folks are going to appreciate out there, and mind you, 400 to 600 Black businesses are going to appreciate this, is that what we really missed from you guys, and we're glad that you're bringing this to us now, is the economic value. Yeah, you couldn't be listed in there if you were, you died, but you also couldn't list your grand opening. You also couldn't list your home, your real estate business, your restaurant. That's the economic part that I'm really glad that we connected on. Or I said, I get the social thing, and that's great, and you're a newspaper, but we know that advertising is the power, the exposure, the showcasing, the credibility, not just the news. And I'm really glad that we were connected on that, because if you really want to help the Black community, which I know that you do, that is the fuel. Helping someone's, livelihood is there. And I know that the City Star, I've got a few things that I want to make sure that I mention to you here, together with Black Kansas City Magazine, and along with you guys. I'm not sure the exact value of what we're putting together in the section yet, but there's about $250,000 in free advertising that we're giving to the Black community every quarter, starting off kicking off this holiday season with our magazines, free advertising online, now this section. And I really think that that's a huge impact in the Black community, because they've never seen their businesses in the Star either. Their grand opening openings. They've never seen their growth. They've never seen the real estate they are selling and promoting. Do you differentiate that? Do you see any value? And you see the difference of what I'm saying, though, Mike, correct? I'm sorry to.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the economic effects of this were huge. They weren't just social. They didn't just all relate to sort of social justice. It was, failure on pretty much every level to really, I think, portray what real life looked like for Black Kansas Cityans of those eras. So yes, to be able to come back and feature people that we haven't featured, businesses that we haven't featured, and to really source that to some degree with our board, with this advisory board that we've named and that we meet with monthly. And they'll be thrilled, by the way, at our next meeting to hear about this partnership, Kareem. I think all those things are super important. And I think from just our meetings offline here that we're very enthusiastic about this project, and we see it as a great opportunity to feature, for instance, those great brims that I was just talking about, and some other businesses that just in the past I think the Star has failed to notice or recognize or give publicity to.
I'm gonna say this caveat to you too, brother Mike, since we've gotten to be friends through this whole process. One is, I'm gonna say this to you as a Black person that has been in business since I was in high school, is that I really believe that in the day, you know what, the Star missed out. I mean, yeah,
and we robbed other people, and we robbed the rest of the community too.
But I'm just saying, the Star, meaning the call did go, boom at that time. Black Pages boomed at that time. The Carter Broadcast Group boomed at that time. The Globe, boomed at that time. The Star missed out on a lot of the opportunities that the Black community was bringing in an entire market of people. So I believe it's a two-edged thing where I'm really happy in my situation to bring to the table of like, no, the Star, I want the Kansas City paper to have the value and the excitement and the economic situation that the Black community brings. Because you guys also missed out on that growth. Like in 1950, the first 3 Black players playing for the NBA. Right? If it wasn't for those 3 Black players, what would the NBA be now? But I really believe there's a side of it where I really want people to look at this. And I want to show a realization. Maybe this wasn't the case 100 years ago. If you look at this on the screen here, this right here represents the Black community in Kansas City. So technically, there's a third of the market out there. The Star has not benefited from, that the Star has not been showcasing from, that has not embraced them for lack of content and things like that. But I want people to understand is that this situation is also hurt the Star in so many ways. This is a great market. This market now represents every Chief player. This represents pretty much every, the huge economic growth. The KPRS, the family, all of these things, our family, have grown much larger than used to be. And I really just want to make sure out there that people understand is that it goes 2 ways. We're all from Kansas City. This is not a Black thing or a white thing or a racist thing or a not racist thing. What this is a situation, Mike, where I really want us to come together, which we have, into a situation where we really understand that we're in this together. This is our town, right? And yeah, the Black community is the victims of the racism and the red line and things. But as you know, and you compare to Blacks around the world, the Black America is the top market, top travel market, education market, power of spending market. I think number 8 or 9 or maybe less than that now because of the COVID situation, the economic power in the world. And that was also missed by the Kansas City Star because of the way that they were in the past. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Absolutely. I think the Star just had so much success in the white community back in those days. And remember, we're talking about a newspaper that was convicted of being a monopolist and had to divest of other media properties, that they missed a huge thing here. I mean, first of all, there's the right thing to do. There's the humane and right thing to do. And I wish the Star had been on the side of rightness in this case, on the side of righteousness, But even if looking past that, you would think a smart executive in those days would go, that's a third of the market that we're missing out on.
Exactly.
Maybe we should rethink how we're doing this. Look, I agree with all those points. I didn't think about that at all when we were writing the apology because I just couldn't allow myself to do that. It wasn't about having a subscription drive or anything like that. It was about speaking truth and being honest and laying ourselves bare in a way that we had never done before. But now I think 9 months into the project, I think that absolutely we want to speak for all of Kansas City. We want to represent this community. And while we picked for this apology the Black community. We also failed the Latino community here. We failed the LGBTQ community. We failed many other communities. I think that the reason we picked the Black community is because, let's face it, the Black community in Kansas City is really what has made Kansas City famous. It's the heart and soul of this town, and it always has been. And so, yeah, the purpose of this was not to create a national project that creates conversation around the country. That has happened, and I'm grateful for it, because while I'm an imperfect messenger, I believe that this is a message that needs to be shared. But locally speaking, that's really what we were trying to do, Kareem. We were really just trying to say to the community at large, we really are sorry, without qualification. And I think everything that you bring up here in terms of what the community missed if we had done this correctly, I can only imagine. We might have become a model city for if only the Star had kind of done the right thing here. But all we can do is move forward, right? And that history sort of lives a little uneasily next to our present, but it informs our present in a way that's powerful. And I think that it will be impossible for any of us to ever forget it, really, going forward. So I think it's going to impact decisions that we were trying to make up ground here. But I really wanted it to be personal. I've heard from people that's wonderful, and I've also heard from people who I totally understand and appreciate both perspectives.
I say this too because I wanted to make sure reach out to you the way that we were reaching out changed, doesn't matter who I was talking to. But I don't about that. I feel it's a little too late. I know how I feel. Even if the Star, is trying to get, sales of issues or newspapers or whatever it might be, or advertising, that's the whole name of the game. I'm glad right now that the Star, you as well, Mike, see the value in the Black and minority community, seeing the value of diversity and inclusion. And yes, maybe it was Black Lives Matter, maybe all of these things that triggered it, but mind you, it triggered it worldwide. It's not just the Star. It's the entire globe. Black Lives Matter protests were around the world. They were even here in Thailand. Got a Black Lives Matter Philippines cup behind me. So it's one of those things where because I think, okay, now let's get to work. Now a little bit. Let's talk about it together. 4 to 6 page newspaper, 400 to 600 business in Kansas City, Black never in history been showcased. Trailblazing. And I do know I also live in LA. So I live California has kind of did that. LA Times, but they've always been more progressive. This is the first time in history that they've done this, and people in business in the community, the power that the Star, by the way, has in building your business credibility, chasing your grand openings. I'm going to about that in 1 second, but I want to give 2 facts. You guys have about, I want to say, 4.9 online viewers a day, and about 80,000 hard copies. Am I correct?
That digital number sounds a little larger than what we're dealing with, but yeah, I think print and digital combined. I mean, we used to be looking at basically 1 million readers a day, something like that. So about 1 million a day.
But my point is, that's a lot of power for businesses. That's how the Nichols Plaza got to where it is. People take for granted and realize, no, late or not in front. I'm understand. Thank you, Mike. The power of growing unity is not just social. And I really want a lot of our, we have a lot of Black Americans. We've got people here watching, people all over the world watching. I see the power of the partnership that we're bringing together. I want to show the Black community how it looks to see your business in the Kansas City Star in a circular fashion, for them to get those calls from their grandma, to get those folks coming and buying things. And the same as the white community has been front row. That's really what the miss, because no one really especially during the whole monopoly situation for businesses in Kansas. I've worked, for example, in the Kansas City Star limousine. We got calls every day. It was very, very fast advertising. Page, and we made money. Is what I think that we need to rediscover the new for right now. Hey, you guys, if you're liking this, go grab a snack, grab a cocktail, refill your coffee, whatever you got to do. These Black business commercials, businesses in Kansas City. Enjoy these commercials, you guys, in the commercial break. These are great people. Support these businesses, you guys, and I'll see you on the other side. After the break, Mike Fannin is here, and we're talking more about the new Kansas City Star.
A workout warrior. For this future. Born.
There's an all-new dawn on the horizon. Black Kansas City, are you ready? Literally 100 years in the making, Kareem Jackson presents an all-new, first-of-its-kind, black-owned business and lifestyle section showcasing over 1,000 Black Kansas City businesses. Black Kansas City Magazine, formerly Minority Success, in partnership with the all-new Kansas City Star. A showcase of Black-owned businesses just in time for the holiday shopping season. Coming soon. Stay tuned, Black Kansas City.
3, 2, 1. We are live. Hello, world. Success is for everyone, baby. You're live on the set with Kareem Jackson. Yes, let's go.
Hello everyone, again this is Kareem Jackson. Kareem Antonio Jackson. Kareem Antonio Jackson. Kareem Jackson. Kareem Jackson. Kareem Antonio Jackson. You are live. You are live. You are live.
You are back live.
You are live. You are live on the set. 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 And I want to thank you so much for being here. You are going to love what we have in store for you this year. Wait till you see it. Stay tuned. Welcome back, you guys. Hope you guys had a great break. Hope you enjoyed those commercials, you guys. My fan is still here, you guys. We're not done yet. We're getting more into more stuff. So we're talking more about this all-new Buy Black Kansas City business and lifestyle section coming out. We're talking more about what Mike is doing, what the Star is doing, what changes they've made, all of that great stuff. So you guys, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed those commercials. Let's get to it. Talk to me a little bit about what you see and what you envision of this section that we're putting together. How the community.
Yeah, Kareem, actually, I think it's going to be bigger than 4 to 6 pages. I think we're going to be talking about a lot of pages here featuring that many businesses. So our hope is to publish before the holidays, before we get into, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and to really, to do it on a Sunday, and to really grow our best designers at it, to work our teams, Kareem, working together to create the best information that can be published that takes you inside of those businesses. I think there's a digital, we're talking about publishing a section, but let's remember in digital, where our largest readership is, we'll also be publishing there. And that will allow people to, I think, directly just click, as they're scrolling through all this directory of businesses, they can click right through to the business and buy that awesome hat or whatever.
Yeah, that was William Haskell's brims. You need to get one of those too, brother. That would be really cute.
King
You just
Haskell,
holiday
I like
season. You need to get you a brim. If you do that, I think they'll believe you, Mike. Show up on their interviews in a brim hat from William Haskell.
I think we're going to have to do it more than once, Kareem. That's the thing. I think we can bring a lot of attention. I think we can bring a lot of attention to this one thing, but I think that we just need to consistently be there in that space to truly build readership, to build some trust back, maybe just build trust once.
Yeah, you're getting it for
just one time here, because I'm not sure back is the correct, but we want to build trust.
It's the first time in history, Mike. It's the first time in history, Black Business Lifestyle section. I'm excited for you, actually, to be honest.
I am too. I am as well.
I have no hate at whatsoever. Black people, please. He said it's going to be on a Sunday. So we're going to change our logos around, by the way. We put First Friday, but you're right. Sunday's even better. And I think it's great. I think it's one of those things where, what's wrong with going out and saying, okay, you guys apologize. You guys did this. I wish that the Kansas City School Board would apologize. I wish the Kansas City Police Department would apologize. And now that you've done it, why would I ridicule you for apologizing? And now and to put forward and to really do what you're doing with us. This is the first time in history. There's never been a union like this. And I think that's a huge step. And we haven't figured out the numbers yet, but I know it's a huge financial investment into the community. And people don't understand that if you charge XYZ for advertising or promotion, then you're supposed to make double that or more in walk-ins and travel. They don't realize the impact of being in the Star, being in the digital version. And I want them to really understand that, because I want the Black community in Kansas City, my community, to really understand, one, the print's great. We in the print because that's what they missed. But this whole online thing, this whole digital thing, that's a way that they could really, really take over in Kansas City, and they should. And I want people to be able to click on them or connect with them directly and not have to go through all of these different links to get to the Black community. And for you guys doing this, I just want to say I commend you, Mike, and I want to thank you personally, for doing this with us.
No, thank you, Kareem. I mean, I think we're just going to have to keep doing it until we demonstrate that we're real in this space.
And I think that's one of these things too, Mike, is that I was a company that was a victim of this. So by the way, for folks that are asking me in the comments here, so our business, we tried to get with the Star back in the day to help us with our printing because they had printers, and before they had the printer downtown, they kind of owned all the printers in town, the monopoly, right? So if you wanted to get printed on a Monday, you couldn't, or on a Friday, but you couldn't because the Star was printing all theirs for Sunday, for example, right? And we couldn't get showcased. We couldn't get our press releases. We could never get we had 2,000 people at our last launch party, Mike. We couldn't get any reporter from the Star to show up. So I feel your pain. But at the end of the day, now that Mike has apologized and they're doing these great things to fix it, that's why I'm here to be that balance beam and to say, well, let's show them the correct way that it should have been done. And as I said before, Mike, my thing is that you guys missed out too on a whole lot of Black growth, Black companies, Black money, and a third of the market that has now become very financially, successful and, nationally. And so now I'm happy to kind of come forward and help and lend our hand. You know what I'm saying? I'm a printer. I've been publishing for 20 years. I know how printing's, down now. I know how advertising's down now. I know how now we've got to pivot and get digital and online. So I really want to encourage the Black community out there to really support this situation as well. So I'm glad that you're doing this, man.
Well, I am as well. Again, we have to demonstrate that the apology means more than just than just I'm sorry, but it means we'll do better. And I think this is definitely a big step in that direction, along with many other steps that we've taken. But really, the work is just getting underway. I realize that we skeptics to win over. And I'm eager to do that. I'm not discouraged. I've gotten a lot of encouragement. And again, I think it's great that what the Star did, what the LA Times did, has created a little bit of a national movement in my business, in the mainstream media. I can tell you that I'm on this call, Kareem, and it's an off-the-record call because, this kind of movement that has been created in the wake of these apologies, ours in the LA Times, and how we've become unofficial consultants, and we're meeting with metro newspapers across the country on a regular basis to talk about their own projects and their own apologies. And I was just saying, and we're talking about large metros, southern newspapers and northern newspapers, and it's been gratifying because as difficult as some of this journey has been, I really see now how meaningful this can be and how it was necessary, how it was really, importantly necessary, not for just our cleansing of our own soul, but, for the larger and more important good here, which is just, again, to say, I'm sorry, we can do better. We're going to do better. Look at what better looks like, and let's keep talking along the way. But I'm just encouraged at where this is going in media in general. And we're a part of a national story. I did a program in New Zealand because there was a New Zealand paper there that had written about coverage of the Maori and how racist that coverage had been in the past. And so I think it's wonderful that institutions like ours are, sort of finding their moral backbone here and doing this work, because it's the first step toward true inclusion, and it's more than just hiring a reporter.
I really think it's awesome. It is an international thing. I travel back and forth between Kansas City and Asia, and it's an international situation where people are realizing that what Blacks were saying for the last however many hundreds of years is correct. And a lot of organizations were racist, and a lot of them are realizing they were racist partly because they were worried about competing with the Black coworkers and markets and things like that, but also because they were just racist. And I think it's really, really awesome that you guys are doing this and really showing others how to do it. If you guys can include me and are needing help with me and all, that'd be great as well, because this is literally what I've done globally. When I was the blessing to the situation with the Star and the racism in Kansas City before was that I would never be global if it wasn't for that. So that's why I'm telling you, it's a double-edged sword, because a lot of Blacks like me, and also I know the Haley family with Senator David Haley in Kansas. A lot of us, the Carter broadcast family, his son my Chris Carter also was educated abroad like I was. Our families went international and went abroad into Europe and London and Africa and all these different countries because of the racism. So the blessing in disguise here is that I would not be sitting here in Asia with an international media publishing company with 12 publications talking to you if it wasn't for that, because I wouldn't probably have searched outside. That being said, I think that it's really a situation where, yes, you should be commended. Your paper should be the way that you investigated, the way that you promoted it, and the way that you partnered with the community. You mentioned a few things that you had done besides partnering with us and besides the diversity, the board, and besides the editorial director that you have. But what kind of other things have you guys done to push this through and make it a reality that you guys are apologizing?
Well, for instance, let's go back to your statistic and that 28.2%. We now have an editorial board where one third of our 6-member board, 2 out of 6 members are Black, and that's because we promoted Mireille in the wake of this to her dream job, which is having a voice at the paper and being able to express opinions through her own reporting, and well-earned promotion there. And so that's one little box we can check. Okay, editorial board, we're at least at where the city statistics say we should be, but I think it really goes beyond that. I see lots of efforts to diversify newsrooms, and sometimes I just think we ask people to cross an arrow of a bridge in this business, and so we've gone further in terms of just trying to there's one of our board members, we're getting ready to hire him, and we wouldn't have even known about him had we not created this advisory board. And he's writing stories for the Pitch on a regular basis, and they're really good. They're resonant. They're on topics that we haven't written about, things like the struggle and challenge of being a Black wedding coordinator in Kansas City, and what
Yes,
that means.
that's true.
Okay. So a number of stories like that J.M. Banks wrote that we took a look at and just went, I want that coverage in the Star. We need these stories, so.
And those businesses.
Businesses, right.
What does it mean to a wedding coordinator to be in the Kansas City Star? Whether
Right.
you got a feature editorial for free or you paid for advertising.
Or business listing,
Huge.
or whatever it may be.
I know you're not talking. I know I know you're not into it for economic, but I get excited about that because as a Black American from Kansas City, that was the issue. That's why my family moved abroad. That's why it wasn't about, we didn't know about who died or we didn't know about the baseball players. It was we couldn't promote our businesses. That
Right.
was it. How did you get out there? And if you were a company like mine, the businesses my family owned, we had Black and white customers alike.
Sure.
I couldn't reach them. So you know what I had to do? I was a kid walking around putting flyer door hangers in your house, probably your house. Come outside with a door hanger because you couldn't advertise in the Star, right? So I had to put it on my door myself. Or I'd come along back in the day, the gimmick we would do is put our flyer in your paper in the driveway.
That's very ingenious. Very clever.
But those are the things.
No, and I'm interested in
what
the
else?
economic issues. Trust me, I'm just a bit shy about tying it to the apology, and always have been, just because I don't want anyone to feel like this was done trying to level set on a business front. I think this is a perfect next step, and next part of those next steps. But we can't be a healthy business in Kansas City and only have white readers. We have to have a broad cross section of Kansas City readership across the racial and social spectrum, and then I think that creates value for those businesses, because, like you said, those businesses want to attract everyone, right?
Exactly.
They want to attract people from all walks of life and from all places in the Kansas City metro area. So I think that we have to first demonstrate that we have some readership, that we can deliver readership in those areas where we've historically not had great readership, and so this is the undertaking. I'm
Thank
really
you
excited
also
about
too, Mike. I'm
that.
sorry to cut you off for the work that you guys have done for the police department. I'm seeing these comments here. People are chiming in. They want to congratulate you guys on your coverage for the police department and your call that you mentioned before. They did notice and appreciate that. You've got mixed reviews on your obituaries You know that's well for that. And you've also got some great comments here for. I want a bit of a big shout out to Trey's on the Vine, off the Vine.
Oh yeah,
the Vine newsletter. Give a shout out to him for that as well, you guys. While he's here. Hey, you guys, Kareem Jackson, you're live on the set here, you guys. We're talking about our partnership with the Kansas City Star with Black Kansas City, you guys. This is a phenomenal, great situation. We're so glad that you guys are here, and thanks for being back, you guys. If you're just tuning in, you guys missed a phenomenal show. You can see the playback, but Mike Fannin here is live with us on the set, you guys. Brother Mike, thanks for being here. I appreciate you very much, Brett. I appreciate this.
Kareem, it's really been an honor, and I wish every answer I had was a winner, and that there were no mixed reviews. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad we're having the conversation. Really,
and no mixed reviews. They were. I was late asking.
Oh no! And I understand
the comments. Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're doing things that, like, you know, we're getting our advisory board, for instance. One thing I think I failed to say here is they've really been instrumental, and we've created a rating system where they can, every month they go in and they rate our stories based on a number of factors, and it's stories across the board. It's really their choice in terms of what stories they want to pick and choose to give us feedback on. We've also created a buddy system where every assigning editor, these are key people, linchpin people in our operation, who assign stories. They have a board buddy, each one of them does, that sort of works with them. So no one person can effectively represent an entire community, but we're getting feedback, I think, that we've never gotten before. And so I just really appreciate the opportunity to be on your show, to be in a partnership with you. I'm really excited about the business directory section and what we can do with that. And I think it's hopefully just the beginning of really terrific partnership.
Well, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. And last thing, what can we do for you, Mike?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
What can we do for you?
I think you're doing it. I think you're helping us make meaningful connections in the community. And that's really what this was intended to be.
Okay. Well, we're doing
there'll be things that come up, I'm sure. and I'll continue to talk about this consultancy thing.
Yeah, because
I really want to see if these other papers step up and do what they're talking about here. It'll be really interesting to see if they have.
There are a lot of companies in Kansas City that have contacted us because of you guys too. T-Mobile, Favorite Staffing. I mean, I can name 30, 40 names of companies that, not just media, that have looked at what you've done and researched their own. School board, you know, for example. And so it's opened the door for a lot. And let me put this caveat too. I wouldn't have had my seed capital investors to reboot Minority Success as a new Black Kansas City magazine if it wasn't for that apology. That apology vindicated so many of us in business that were talking before, like, this is too hard. We can't do it. It's too racist. A lot of folks just thought that we were quitters, or we were just giving up, or we weren't this, or we weren't strong enough, or we weren't wise enough. They didn't realize, no, they really just don't want us. You know?
There was a really thick door there to try and, you know. I think you're absolutely right about that. And I think that, you know, there was just a lack of understanding what was happening really on the street level there. And so again, let me just say once again, we are sorry. And that is not who the Kansas City Star is circa 2021. We are not that company, but we still have a lot to learn. And, you know, we have great partnerships. I can tell you that in the media community, I challenge KCUR directly. And I think if you look at what's happened over just this year, if you could look back to their coverage, you know, a year ago, I think that it's much more sort of diversity inclusion minded than it was a year ago. So,
yeah. And, you know,
hopefully these are.
I think they've contacted us too, actually.
Okay.
They have a radio show and TV, yeah. And another, like back in the day, we were the first ones to challenge Ingram's and the pitch back in the day. And then they're very diverse now at Ingram's. We were the first Black media to ever have the Masterpiece Award from Ingram's. This is 15 plus years ago. So it's one of those things where this means a lot, Mike. I appreciate it. That's all I want to say. It means more than media, more than what you say. I don't hold grudges, and I'm looking forward to working with you, and I'm looking forward to us helping the Black community bounce back after the pandemic, right before the holidays, with a phenomenal section, however many pages, however many people it is. It's going to be amazing. So I'm looking forward to that too, brother.
Yeah, me as well. So excited about all of this, Kareem, and thank you for having me on this morning.
All right, brother. Thank you very much. And you enjoy your Friday, brother. Enjoy the weekend. TGIF, man.
All right, you too.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Okay, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed that episode. If you did, you guys, hit that like button, share this, like this, subscribe. Go visit us over at Black Kansas City MagMAG.com. You can see all this on replay, you guys. Hope that you enjoyed Micah. Hope that he answered your questions. Hope that you guys enjoyed this show as much as I did. And thank you for tuning in, whether you're live on Facebook, live on LinkedIn, on YouTube, or on our website live. Thank you for being here, you guys. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button, send this to everybody, because this whole new section, this all new Kansas City Star is going to be great for all of Kansas City, especially Black Kansas City. Thanks again, you guys, for being here live with me. I'm Kareem Jackson, live on the set, helping woke entrepreneurs to minimize their cluttered lifestyles, to outsource their business processes, to make more money, more freedom, have more time, and live their dream life while they do it. Thanks for being here again, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.